sort of late already tonight, but I was going to do this before I didn't get around to it. But today we got your tape recorded from Evelyn and family, and it was real nice. And if you get a chance to go to Fairfield tomorrow, I don't know if we will or not, but we have to take that along because that'll really be something. Because they lift Evelyn a lot. They'll be interested in hearing Marlene. But tomorrow night, the children want to watch the Wizard of Oz on television. So I don't know if we'll be going or not. But if we do, we have to get home early because this is really something special in their book. The children are in bed tonight already, and they had a real exciting and nice day, I guess. They always like Saturdays because there's so many cartoons to keep them occupied. Today I had a letter from Uncle Clarence too, and he sent a money order for $10 along to the children, but I'm going to cash it and send the check back to him because I don't think he can send those back and that he could cash it himself then. But anyway, he said he doesn't have work yet, and I just feel sort of guilty keeping it, and I think that he will understand. I hope so anyway. But he wrote about his spells and things, so I guess he must be aware of it too now that he has them, and that he was in a restaurant one time, and the restaurateur told him that he had passed out on his feet for so many minutes, 5 minutes, I guess. And so anyway, he must be kind of sad and depressed too about this. And he mentioned having a picture of Catherine's children. I guess she must have sent him a picture. And he asked for one of our kids, but I'll try to get one off to him in the mail then when I write this letter. Or I wrote the letter already, and I'm going to explain to him about that check and that. But anyway, we had a lot of rain since last Sunday, about 2.5 inches to be exact. So we're pretty well ahead of our normal then for this time of year. The thing is, flowers are starting to bloom. The camellias are starting to bloom. Next week is the Camellia Festival here in Sacramento, and that's quite a deal. Ray seems to be feeling much better now. The medicine for those migraines seems to do some good. I guess it's probably worry over Larry going into service and not having as good a help as he'd like to have. This other barber that he's trying out seems to be awful slow, but maybe he'll speed up if he realizes that he isn't going to make money by being so slow. But it's kind of a hard thing, all right, when you're used to having somebody work for you that long and you know just exactly, what's what, but with somebody new you don't really know what they'll really turn out like, so it's kind of difficult. Well, I tell you, Rhonda took her first steps this week, really. I mean, she took steps before her birthday, but not like this. She takes about 6, 7 steps or goes halfway across the room. Of course, she just covers about 2 feet or so, but her steps are little and she's real wobbly. It looks kind of like a little mechanical person walking around, their arms flying up in the air. And they just have such a proud expression on their face, like nobody else in the world has ever done such a marvelous thing. And of course the other kids, every time she walks, they report to me that Rhonda has taken so many steps, but she sure is foxy. She gets up on the chairs now, on the smaller chairs, and she can get up on the Davenport, and then she really bounces around. But upstairs today she wasn't so smart. She fell off the Davenport up there and fell on her forehead and has a big lump there tonight, but she's getting her big molar teeth, the ones in back already, and in fact we just discovered one irradiated just this week, and I see on the other side there's a big white spot. It kind of looks like a marble almostly, where she has another tooth coming in, so she's doing pretty good that way, but she's got the prettiest hair. When I shampoo it, it just gets so curly, and it's real kind of a silver blonde color. And she always has real red cheeks, so it's quite a contrast, right, with the little blue eyes. And I'm sure happy you guys got a nice car like that. It sounds real good, and it sure makes a difference, all right, when you know that you're going to get home when you start out for it. But I was going to tell you about Timmy. Timmy reminds us quite a bit of Michael. He he's just about a duplicate, really. He's so strong. Honestly, he's got real big muscles, and he's real, muscular build, and he's real comical. He always, of course, he kind of thinks he's clownish too, and lately he makes a Frankenstein face for me, if you can imagine. And he crosses his eyes, and they're so dark brown anyway, and all you see is the whites and these little spots in the corner of his nose, and he's just real comical, but he likes to dress up. This is really one of his traits for school and for church. He likes to look real nice, and by looking at him other times you wouldn't think he really cared, but he likes to put on this nice clothes and things. And Mark is just real sensitive about things and considerate all the time of other people. On Monday he gets his report card, and Marky gets his report card Monday, and then afterwards he has to go to the dentist again. He gets kind of worried about these excursions to the dentist, and I guess we all do. But speaking about dentists, this is the funniest joke in the Minor Daily about whether it's time to use his chair, and he says, it won't hurt a bit, and then he paused and he said, well, he says, I almost forgot, Eric, you were a dentist too. But I think the Minor Daily has the cutest jokes in there, and I just about get hysterical when I read it, because they really are different than here, and it seems like they have a different mode altogether, a mood. But I get a kick out of reading the paper too. There's always, different things, and even news articles that I read in the Minor Daily that I miss in the Sacramento Bee. But then too, it's interesting. Once in a while, I see something about somebody getting married who I know. And today's paper had where this Clara Lewis died. She was the secretary of nurses there in Bismarck for years, and things like that. A person would miss them altogether if it wasn't for the paper. Joni, she's always liking to bake with her little dishes now, since she got those at Christmas time, the ones from Larry. They're kind of aluminum, and so all the time when I bake cake, I've got to put a cake in there for her, and then the two little cupcake holders. So we have a party practically every day, and sometimes I get a chance to decorate it, and sometimes not. But whatever the case, it's always something special, and she can be a pretty good help, if she wants to be, but she's kind of lazy too at times. They don't like to do certain things. She always wants to do something that she really can't do. But Mark, he's a pretty good helper. He really tries hard, and he's real considerate. Like I said before, he always tries to be just so good. And today he was playing with some of the children in the neighborhood who he doesn't play too much with, but they have sort of a bad reputation. And at first when I came here, I was more worried about it, but then I know now that whenever, if he hears any bad language or anything, he just leaves them, or he comes in the house. Well, anyway, they were on the sidewalk over near somebody else's house, and anyway, these children must have had a squabble with these other children before, and so anyway, the father came out and told the boys to go home. And Mark told me tonight, he says, I just felt so bad. He says, those kids were hollering at us and calling us names, and I just kind of, I guess maybe they talked sort of back to him, but I don't know. The father came out then and told him to go home, and Mark said, but really we didn't do anything. And I said, well, it's by the company you keep, people judge you to be just like the kids that you're playing with. And so he understands pretty well, but some days, the good kids or the Mulligan children who he usually plays with aren't out, and so these other kids come around, and then, what can you do? They go to St. Robert's too, so it's kind of hard, but they don't just have the good children over there either. Ray is listening to television. The Hollywood Palace was on before, and Lawrence Welk, and I don't know what's on now, but anyway, Saturday nights is usually a pretty peaceful time around here. Last Saturday night, Roy and June came over quite late, and so it was late when we got to bed, but usually it's kind of nice just to sit around, read the paper, and watch television, and let the kids stay up a little later than usual, because, we can go to later Mass on Sundays, but Monday will be a pretty busy day. Ray has to clean the barber shop, and then I go shopping, and Mark to the dentist, and in the morning Rhonda gets her pictures taken. So there's always lots of excitement and lots to do on Monday, more than what should be, really. But it's a good thing Ray is off on Monday, because then he can take care of a lot of these things too. I saw in the paper tonight where Bishop McGuckin over in San Francisco is going to replace the old St. Mary's Cathedral that burned down, and it's going to be a $6 or $7 million project. And the picture was in the paper tonight, and it really looks, kind of weird almostly, but it certainly costs money. And here in the Diocese of Sacramento, they're going to start a drive for churches and old age home and Catholic high schools, and it's just a tremendous, I don't know how many $1 million is going to go into that, but they just announced that this week, and I guess it said it'll affect every member, or every family in the diocese. Of course, this goes way up to Oregon, this particular diocese, so there'll be lots of people that... Timmy had a real nice birthday. He just has a ball with practically everything, and Gregory kept saying, when are you going to bake my birthday cake? He doesn't understand that you have to have birthdays at certain times, that it takes a year before they get around to you again, but he just really is quite a little kid. He has quite a problem at night. He always wets his diaper, and I don't know if he ever will show any signs of quitting, although we don't make too much of an issue out of it. We wish he would, but sometimes during the daytime when he naps, he gets careless, and then I hear him tell Joni, don't tell Mom, and here he's just so, but this usually